In this section, we're going to go over comparative advantage, the principle of increasing marginal opportunity cost, and the production possibility curve. These are all in the same section because they are very similar and very connected. Now, the first concept we're going to go over is comparative advantage, and that is that certain resources are better at producing than other resources, and they can produce at a lower opportunity cost. So let's say we have Bob, and Bob is really good at making computers, but Bob is not very good at making anything else. So, since Bob's so good at making computers, and his opportunity cost for making computers is low because he's not very good at making anything else, Bob has a comparative advantage in making computers because he's good at it. So comparative advantage is what people are good at. Some people are good at making art, some people are good at programming, some people are good at writing. That's your comparative advantage. It's what you're good at. The second concept we're going to go over is the principle of increasing marginal opportunity cost, and that is, to get more of something, you have to give up more than you had before for the same amount. Now, this might not make very much sense, but think of it in terms of studying, and your result is your grade. So, for trying to get a good grade, you put in time and studying, and your grade's the result. So, if you put in 1 hour of study time, you're going to get like a C. But if you put in 2 hours of studying time, you might get a B minus. If you put in 3 hours of study, you might get a B. So, as you increase the number of hours of study, the last hour doesn't help you as much as the previous hour. So, to keep increasing your grade at the same rate, you have to keep putting in more hours of study, because if I want to raise my grade from a C to a B, that doesn't take nearly as many hours of studying to raise my grade from a B to an A. So that's the principle of increasing marginal opportunity cost, because if I want more of something, I have to give up more to get that than I had before to get a previous amount. It's just like GPA. And the third concept we're going to go over, which links all these, is the production possibility curve. So, notice you have two axes, and the standard economics example is always butter and guns. So, if we produce, at this point right here, we only produce butter because however high we are on the y-axis, that's how much butter we produce. And then however far we are to the right, so if we are right here, we are producing all guns but no butter. And if we produce right here, we're producing some butter, we're producing this much butter, and we're producing this many guns. So, I mean, that makes sense. So, wherever you choose on the graph, it's how many guns you get and how much butter you get. So, but what is this line right here? This line represents the maximum we can produce. So, we can either produce this amount of butter and no guns, or we can produce this amount of guns but no butter, or we can produce, kind of equal amount of both. But we can't produce right here outside of this production possibility curve, because you can't produce past the production possibility curve, because this is the maximum amount you can manufacture or make. This is unattainable. These 2 points right here are efficient because we are producing the maximum amount possible, while this point right here is inefficient because we are producing less than we are capable of. If we want to get right here, we have to develop new technologies, because new technologies push the production possibility curve out so it'll be wider and cover more area. You may ask, why is it shaped like this? Why isn't it just a straight line from the max amount of butter we can produce to the max amount of guns? This is because of the principle of increasing marginal opportunity cost. Because at this point right here, we have everyone producing butter. At this point right here, we have everyone producing guns. And if we're right here, we have the people who are best at producing butter, and we have people who are best at producing guns, because some people are better at producing certain goods than others. So that's why the PPC, the production possibility curve, is sloped like this, but not a straight line, because certain resources are better at making goods than other resources.